Hi, welcome to this special fireside chat with tech business leaders. Today we have the privilege of hosting Sandeep Bhambure, the Managing Director of Veeam Software. Veeam is a leading global provider of backup, recovery, and data management solutions trusted by organizations worldwide. Sandeep leads Veeam's business operations in India and is responsible for market development, expanding solutions offerings to customers, and further strengthening the partner network. He is a successful business leader with over 20 years of experience in driving IT solutions within enterprises of all sizes. He is an industry veteran with a proven track record of consistently driving business growth. Prior to Veeam, he worked for organizations like EMC, Iris, Symantec, SAS, and Sonata. Thank you for joining us today, Sandeep.
Thank you, Kalpana. Happy to be here with you.
Yeah. So, Sandeep, to start, as we know, Veeam has received the number 1 ranking globally for data replication and protection software as per IDC. So what do you believe has been the key driver behind Veeam's remarkable growth rate of 8.1%, outpacing other top vendors and the overall market average?
Yeah, so I think the single most important reason why we have been, growing so fast as compared to the market, not only worldwide, but also in APJ. And India happens to be one of the fastest growing regions within the APJ. The single most important reason, I think, is that we are very close to our customers and, we are solving, the challenge that invariably every customer today faces when it comes to data protection and recovery. So if we look at the Veeam's data protection platform and the ransomware recovery platform, essentially, we have built this entire architecture around 3 cornerstones of our strategy, which is data security, data recovery, and data freedom. And these are the challenges because with the leaders across the industry, these are challenges that get discussed in the boardroom. Ransomware and data security is a serious challenge that every organization faces. We are helping customers, take this challenge head on. Recovery has always been, for decades, a challenge for organizations to ensure that the SLAs around RPO and RTO are met with a very dynamic IT, climate and situation around them. And, we are helping customers to make sure that the gap between what business expects and what IT delivers further narrows down, and we are able to deliver for them, near zero RPO and RTO objectives. And last but not the least, I spoke about which is something which I believe is key strategy for every organization today, because we see that more than 95% of the companies today have adopted cloud in some way or the other. In fact, many organizations have cloud first strategy. Right. So in this scenario, the ability to prevent cloud lock-in, to harness the agility of cloud while keeping cost low, is something that can be achieved through data freedom. And I think we are able to help our customers there. So, a lot of good things that we are doing, particularly, in the 3 areas that I spoke of, which kind of, really propel this Veeam growth engine. And, we are seeing tremendous growth in this part of the world where I lead the India and the SAARC region. So yes, it's good going. I see good prospects for the next 2 to 3 years as well, as customers are prioritizing data protection, backup and recovery, over, other adjacent security concerns that they may have.
Yeah, sure. So these are the factors, according to you, which have contributed to Veeam's consistent success in data protection.
Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, you must be aware of the data protection, research that we do where we talk to industry leaders across the world. Ransomware has always been a challenge. And in fact, in the past 12 months, we've seen that 85% of the organizations we spoke to suffered from a ransomware attack. But, and this is a continuous conversation that we have with our customers. And now it is no longer about whether there has been attack, but, customers are telling us that they have been attacked not once, but twice or thrice or 4 times, So it's not about, just an attack, but how customers can consistently and predictably recover and drive resilience in the IT infrastructure so that they can, continue to recover from these kind of challenges. Another reason why we believe that customers are prioritizing data protection and recovery is because earlier, customers used to depend largely on the insurance company. So insurance would end up paying ransom, in case of an attack. And like almost 77% of the ransom was paid by insurance companies. But they are also getting very smart now, so they see the risk to, overall their business model. So the premium for the customers are increasing, the deductibles are increasing. Many insurance companies prefer to keep ransomware risk outside the scope of their contract with the customers. So that is actually pushing the customers to put together, a solid business resilience and data protection strategy in place, because like 18% of the respondents, that we spoke to, said that they could recover their data from the backup. And by the way, the ransomware attackers 93% of the time have targeted, the backup repository, right? So, they realize that they know that, if they take control over the backup data, then obviously, the chances of getting ransom from the customer is much higher. And that's why they target, the backup repository. And we also observed that almost, 3/4 of the customer, despite paying ransom or not paying ransom, have not been able to get their data back. They have lost some part of the data, right? Yeah. And that's why, we see more importance being thrust upon having a very robust and a resilient, availability and data protection strategy by customers.
So these are some critical challenges that we have discussed. And so according to you, what are the opportunities in the data management industry today, and how is Veeam positioned to address them?
Yeah, I think the opportunity exists across the board because, ransomware is not a challenge which is kind to any specific industry. They treat, although, we see educational institutions, government institutions, and perhaps the healthcare industry is targeted more by the ransomware attackers. But at the same time, we are seeing some of very reputed names in the Indian, financial services sector also being impacted by ransomware. So the opportunity of helping customers in terms of building a robust and a resilient, data protection and availability platform is across the board, cutting across verticals. So that we see as a big opportunity where, we could grow our business and also help our customers. Second big trend that we are seeing is in terms of, mobility migrations and even customers that do not want to, have a cloud lock-in. Because the cloud adoption cost for customers have been really burgeoning, and looking at how do they control their cost. The way we are able to help these customers is to look at, what could be the optimal way of, protecting their data and even moving their workloads in a hybrid IT scenario. So there is no cloud lock-in. If the customer chooses to repatriate some of the workloads for cloud back on-prem, then, we are able to help our customers there as well.
Although Veeam is known for its innovative approach, So, although we know that Veeam is known for its innovative approach to data protection, so and you were, obviously you're telling about the latest developments and how Veeam is incorporating to help businesses adapt to evolving data protection needs and ensuring that data is resilient in the face of increasing cyber threats. But the question arises that it's not just only about the vendor lock-ins, but also about the legacy infrastructure. So how much has to be, carried forward from the legacy infrastructure, which commonly, the CIOs actually, when we ask them that, okay, what are the challenges that you're facing? So adoption of cloud, definitely now everybody understands why cloud is, and there are most of the companies now having cloud first approach. So if you can throw some light on that, when it comes to legacy infrastructure, of course, along with highlighting more on vendor lock-in, that how Veeam is helping, how it is a kind of a technology, why people should go for Veeam because there is no vendor lock-in. Yeah, over to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for that question. And it's a very interesting one, Kalpana, because, we are born in the cloud company. So we are much younger than the traditional players that have been there for decades and particularly architected on older technology. So Veeam started growing. It was formed and started growing in the virtual world, and now we are kind of further capitalizing on the opportunity that cloud presents to us. But what has also happened is that customers that started adopting Veeam have been insisting that we protect even the legacy platform, because what they are asking for is one single platform to protect physical, virtual, SaaS, cloud, and even Kubernetes workloads. So not only have we kind of grown our footprint and our capabilities from the platform standpoint, to kind of help customers in VMs and cloud and Kubernetes, but we have also looked at some backward integration in terms of ensuring that legacy workloads, physical workloads, databases like Oracle and SQL, different flavors of Unix systems that are still part of, the data center, can also be protected using Veeam. So all of these capabilities now are part of the Veeam, data protection platform. And we are able to do everything, extremely well as compared to the legacy players. We have also introduced, something which is very, very critical for businesses, and that revolves around protecting unstructured information. So file share, file serve, NAS data. And why this is very important is because, the digital universe has like 80% of unstructured data. And same thing applies to even the corporations. Now, unfortunately, the legacy platforms were not doing a great job, or even a good job, I would say, in terms of protecting this unstructured data, because they were deployed or working on very age-old protocols like NDMP. Now, what you rightly pointed out is that we've been innovating and investing our dollars in delivering technologies where, we kind of really take protection to the next level. What we have done on protecting unstructured information is we introduced a capability called change file tracking. Okay. So that allows customers to protect the unstructured data universe and delivers similar SLAs that they would for the structured data that exists in databases, for example. So, on database, customers always wanted like, zero downtime and no loss of data and instant recovery and so on. But customers earlier to Veeam were compromising on the SLAs when it came to unstructured data. Now they can actually harness the power of change file tracking. And with Veeam, we are able to deliver instant recovery of huge amounts of unstructured data. So that takes the SLAs around, on uptime and, RPOs to a completely different level. So I'm saying that, not just the cloud and the modern workloads, but we are helping customers also in the traditional workloads, the databases, different flavors of Unix and different operating systems, and at the same time, helping them in securing this unstructured data universe within the organization.
Absolutely. So that brings me to another question, which is all about, the concept of unified platform approach in data management, which has become increasingly relevant as IT environments become more complex. So how does the Veeam data platform addresses the challenge of managing and securing diverse IT environments and ensure seamless data protection and recovery across different technologies and platforms?
Yeah. So we have a single platform offering to protect any type of data and any type of workload, whether it lies within the realms of a data center, on the edge, or in cloud. And, the data platform today offers the capability to protect physical machines, virtual, cloud, SaaS offerings, SaaS workloads like M365 and Salesforce, and also taking it to the next level of Kubernetes, backup. And by the way, when it comes to M365 backup, Kubernetes, we are also the world number one here. So, I was talking about IDC earlier. It ranked us number one worldwide in their latest, semi-annual tracker on the data protection and recovery platform in terms of revenues, and also on the number of customers that we really support. So essentially, one single platform helping secure different workloads, diverse workloads, and going beyond the traditional boundaries of backup, because we believe that customers are interested in the outcome, which is on how quickly can we recover the data. Backup is simply a process. They are looking at recovery. They are looking at resilience, which is a capability, which is the ability to recover consistently and predictably and repeatedly, from scenarios that are basically having the potential to disrupt a business. So, the scalability of the platform also comes from the fact that, we are absolutely hardware agnostic. Okay. So neither do we lock in our customers to any specific hardware, nor do we lock in a customer to a specific cloud offering. Rather, we actually help the customers to, have freedom there from locking into any hyperscaler. So this essentially kind of, helps us get into stronger partnerships with our customers, because they can very clearly see an advantage, not only in terms of the agility that we can drive to the overall IT, but also keep the cost in control. Because by not having any hardware agenda, we give customer the freedom of choice, and also freedom from expensive appliance that they have been, earlier committing to.
That's fantastic. So now, data analytics and AI. So, increasingly, there is a significant importance of data analytics and AI in data management and decision making now. So how is Veeam leveraging data analytics and AI capabilities to provide actionable insights and optimize data backup and recovery processes for its customers?
Yeah, so, AI and generative AI is really taking, the entire industry and the market by storm. So not only does it help, people like you and me, but at the same time, the not so good elements of the business, the cyber criminals are also taking advantage and leveraging, Gen AI technologies, because they can now easily kind of create mails or, or generate content that can lure customers or users to just click, and then they get an entry point, and then, they can take control of the data. And that's how ransomware can really, accelerate itself into customer environment. So essentially, for a customer, although there are inherent advantages of Gen AI that they can leverage for their business, at the same time, it is also kind of giving opportunity to the perpetrators to kind of, accelerate their attack on to take control of customer data. And I think, that presents a tremendous opportunity for Veeam, because essentially, customers would then realize that, now the data has to be even more protected than before, and, data protection and last line of defense becomes a top priority for organizations as the chances of a cyber attack, increases. So, we continue to innovate and create awareness about the best practices that customers can, use within their setup to avoid in the first place, threats like this. Or even if, the cyber attack does happen, then, what are the steps in terms of recovering from, a ransomware or a cyber attack. And we are getting very granular here, and we see that, 61% of customers see a very close association and overall, overhauling of their cyber resilience and data protection strategy. So they're coming together, and we are basically creating an awareness also here, working with, there's two different arms within the IT world, the CISO organization or security organization and the infrastructure organization. Right. So,
one straight question, I would like to ask here, while you are telling that, it's a challenge again for the enterprises that they have to further be more conscious about protecting their data. So have you seen any surge within your customers when it comes to, as the AI and data analytics have picked up over 1 year, it's more pertinent now over last 1 or 2 years. So have you seen any surge?
Yeah, that's very interesting, Kalpana. And I get your question very well. So although I will not have statistical, data points to answer your question, but I can tell you that, the awareness, now whether it is coming from a real threat that customers have experienced on their data, from cyber criminals, or is it simply because, they are seeing so many things happening around them. But I, day in and day out, get, inputs from my customers and partner base that this is really a top priority. Now, whether the real reason is for that is it the cyber criminals getting smarter, or are they taking help from Gen AI to kind of increase the pace of their attacks? I really don't know. I don't have an answer to that. But the propensity, and the number of attacks and the kind of conversations today that we are engaging with our customers in have ransomware and security as the top priority. Okay,
Yeah.
so that itself kind of gives me a sense that, whatever could be the reason, definitely from 2022 to 23, this has become even more serious a challenge for our customers.
Yeah, I think that's the reports also that says that now I think earlier CIO was the most important person in the organization, in the boardroom, and now it's, I think, being getting replaced by CISOs.
Yeah, and it is part of the boardroom discussion. I can tell you that, one question that I ask every CISO or CIO I meet is, tell me what gets discussed in the boardroom. What what does your organization talk about? And they say there are three things, invariably, rather, 4 or 5 things, but 3 things that come to my mind is, one is security and ransomware. Second is compliance and availability, uptime, resilience of the IT. And third, they talk about is automation and, particularly skills. Okay, unavailability of skilled resources to run the IT operation. So these are the things that invariably get discussed.
That's very true. That's what even we have learned over the last couple of months, that most of the people talking about this, that's the major thing in their agenda, that how they're going to fix.
Yeah. So on one side, we keep hearing about, AI and ML could kind of result in many job losses in, in software coding and so on and so forth. But at the same time, we also hear about dearth of skilled resources, to manage infrastructure and IT and, in the security organization. So, it's an interesting kind of paradox that, I keep hearing about.
Yeah, so now I think there's a trend. We get to know every day, we're getting to know that the higher education institutes have started including more courses on AI, ML. Yeah. For having, for generating more skilled force. I think that's much required also. That's the need of the hour.
Yeah.
So, kind of switching gears, knowing more about the business, if you can talk about your initiatives for channel partners over the last few months, and also if you can highlight your business achievements in terms of business growth, customer acquisitions and expansions over the last 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, sure, Kalpana. So, I would say right from 2020 to 2023, I mean, as we speak, we've seen a phenomenal jump in the business at Veeam in India and SAARC. And in fact, we are one of the fastest growing, I would say, a hyper growth engine for Veeam in APJ. Now, if you look at APJ within all the theaters and Veeam taking the lead in data protection, APJ growth has been 4 to 5x of the market. Okay. And India is growing at a much faster pace here. So, we add hundreds of net new customers every quarter, to kind of, really kind of drive with them, their data protection strategies. And invariably, many of the enterprise customers are now trusting Veeam, for the modern workloads, and the strategy that customers are adopting, to kind of include Veeam and, secure their modern workloads is they perhaps want to keep some of the legacy environments as is, don't touch them because, well, too complex and, few things that have been running for a long time. But the real challenge that they have been facing has been on the virtual workloads and the cloud. So, that's when Veeam actually has kind of, engages with the customers, big customers like Mahindra and Mahindra, Hero MotoCorp, Granules India, again, into healthcare and manufacturing. I mean, Parul University, just to talk about, or in financial services, Future Generali. I mean, all of these customers and a host of other customers have been traditionally on some other traditional backup platform. Okay. But the reason that they chose to go with Veeam is because of all the great things that we do with the modern workload protection. Now, that has really kind of propelled our growth in this part of the world. Enterprise customers particularly are engaging with us to secure their Kubernetes environment. And I think as a market, India and SAARC particularly is ahead of the rest of the world in terms of Kubernetes adoption. We have strong partnerships with Red Hat and IBM. We work with HP, Cisco, Lenovo, and Nutanix, very closely. And these are some of the, strong partners that actually are talking about containerization and helping customers to kind of, get onto the containers and Kubernetes journey. And, we see rapid growth in that space. We have been also, I would say, doing extremely well in the public sector and government space. Several smart cities today depend on their DR and data protection, on Veeam. We have multiple state data centers protecting their information with Veeam, then defense establishment, public sector undertakings. So a host of enterprise organizations that come under the gamut of public sector and government are also trusting Veeam to protect their most critical data. Net, I would say that, from the smallest of organizations to the largest enterprises, we have been able to make an impact and deliver the fastest growth in the market. I would say that we are perhaps more invested than any other, data protection player in the Indian market. So I have a host of, channel partners across the country, 700 plus channel partners, great ecosystem of global system integrators like Kyndryl, Infosys, and TCS working very closely with us. I mentioned about HP, Cisco, Lenovo being our resellers. We have very strong partnership with AWS and Google. In fact, one of the customers is one of the large enterprise customers is looking at adopting Veeam and using Veeam through, the hyperscaler marketplace. So there are different delivery and fulfillment mechanisms that we are able to kind of offer to our customers to consume. And last but not the least, we are working very closely with the cloud service providers as well. And this is a strategy that actually helps us penetrate to a very broad base of customers at the bottom of the pyramid. Because the small and medium businesses, what we call as velocity business, they don't want to invest in a host of, infrastructure on their own. They want to get onto the cloud, and many of them choose not to be on the hyperscalers, but, work with the local cloud service providers. And these are, our partners. We are able to offer them, some very interesting consumption models and, help protect this large base of customers even at the bottom of the pyramid. So I would say, a very comprehensive offering and consumption model that gets delivered to our large customer base from enterprise to velocity, fulfilled through a very broad ecosystem that we have created in the country. And going forward, I'm looking at expanding this further because I believe that the market is still under-penetrated. We have seen within the country, smaller states are having their own clusters of companies, that are quite active locally in that region. And, owing to the initiative by the government, which is encouraging manufacturing across the board, there are many smaller companies that are emerging out of the tier 2 and tier 3 cities in the country. So, with our channel ecosystem, we are expanding our reach in these markets as well. I'm in charge of 5 other countries than India. So Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, Maldives, these are the markets that we believe have their own very sound potential and good base of customers. So I think it's been a great journey and, I see a very solid potential for the next 2 to 3 years at least.
Oh, that's very nice, so that I think you have included your focus areas and expansion plans also by answering that. So lastly, what is your outlook for the data management and data protection market in India over the next couple of years?
Massive. Kalpana, massive, because, we are a country of 1.4 billion people. The government is going to introduce the data protection bill. Okay. Sooner or later, it will get passed. The manufacturing companies, one of the independent research companies, spoke about 75 million, companies operating out of India. And the government is putting so much of thrust on manufacturing in the country that all of these companies, when they start producing and selling in the global markets, there will be not just the need of the business, but also compliance that will essentially drive, data protection and data management for us. So I see a phenomenal opportunity for Veeam, particularly, the platform story and the offering that we have. But more important than, just the platform story and innovation and, everything, good things that we do. I think our ability to service from enterprise to a velocity or a small and medium business, I think that is very unique to me. So that actually kind of, makes me feel very optimistic about the next few years.
Absolutely. So today, while I was going through one of the digital health report, and I can just resonate with, you like for coming years, this is again going to be like an explosion for when it comes to data. So it was whatever, whether you count on telemedicine, e-pharmacies, EHRs, the electronic health records, everything. When it comes to compliance, it was everywhere in recommendation within, it was a government report for Ayushman Bharat and the other schemes that they are running. It was everywhere about data security and the data backup. So that's what I was thinking, like, what exactly is what exactly is the agenda that we have to discuss when it comes to digital health. It's only what comes out is the security and the data backup and data recovery.
Absolutely. The more we grow, more data we're going to generate, and hence more data that has to be protected and secured for our customers. So we are in a great position to do that.
So thanks, Sandeep. Your insights pointed up positive outlook for Veeam and the data management and data protection market in India over the next couple of years. And we wish you and Veeam a continued growth and success.
Thank you very much, Kalpana, for this discussion and also the partnership. Wish you good luck. Thanks for having me.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.